Okay, folks, I'm going to pass you over to Kaylee Brown, who will give the opening remarks for us.
Thanks, Anne. Oh, that's not a good sight to see your face in the full of that screen. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our annual Volunteers Week Award Ceremony. So this is our first online event, and Anne has already mentioned that you should bear with us if we have any technical issues, but it would appear that it seems to be my sound more than anything that's given us some technical faults. So please let me know if at any point you can't hear what I'm saying. So I just wanted to start by just giving a wee bit of background just about the Ayrshire Community Trust, or TACT as most people know us. So we're one half of the third sector interface in North Ayrshire alongside our partners, Arran Community and Voluntary Service. And the third sector interface has various functions, but the main areas are to be a central source of knowledge about the third sector, to ensure a strong third sector voice, to develop the capacity of volunteering, the community and voluntary organisations and social enterprises throughout North Ayrshire, to provide leadership, vision and coordination to local third sector organisations to better respond to local priorities, and to support the government and communities in the COVID-19 recovery response. But enough about us and more about this evening and what it really means. So Volunteers Week, I'm sure most of you will be well aware, happens at the same time every year, and it's just a chance for us to recognise the fantastic contribution volunteers make to our communities. They do this every day, and this is just our opportunity to say a huge thank you. This is especially so this year when everybody's worked extremely hard, but Volunteers Week 2021 has the theme of time to say thanks, and it goes without saying that volunteers have played a pivotal role in the pandemic response. During an exceptionally difficult year, people from all walks of life have taken the time to volunteer and make a huge difference to their communities throughout North Ayrshire, just like they do every year. And we're lucky enough to see that firsthand. So this is our time to come together and just say a huge thank you for your invaluable contribution. I would also like to say a special thank you to all our sponsors who have made this year's events happen. And there is a good list. So this year's they include Cromwell Polythene, Fortress Security, McLaughlin and Harvey, MPMH Limited, Richardson and Starlin, Mikoko, Halo Communications, Cunningham Housing Association and North Ayrshire Council. I'd also like to say a thank you to our guest presenters for taking the time out of their busy schedules to come along tonight. I know that they're delighted to be attending to hear firsthand the difference that local people make by volunteering. But most of all, I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of you for attending, especially in such a glorious evening. Especially those that are unable to make it along, those that have already let us know. So as Anne has already said, her and Susan will be busy this week out visiting everybody to make sure that everybody's in receipt of their goodie bag and their hampers. So your commitment and dedication is the reason we find ourselves here. And this isn't just a thank you from us, but from all of the organisations that have nominated you for tonight. The effort you put in and the difference you make does not go unnoticed. And our partners attending to present the awards and our loyal sponsors recognise the contribution you make. And this is just one way in which we have the opportunity to show our great appreciation. So I'll now hand you back to my colleague Anne to get things underway. Thank you.
Thanks, Kaylee. Need to be quicker at this unmuting bit. This is the bit that we weren't sure about, was changing between one face and another face, and how many faces can we get up at once. It's great fun, but isn't it? I've enjoyed it. I'm having a ball in here. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to pass you over to Rona Arthur, who's going to give a wee talk about volunteering, what it means to her, and to announce the winner of the food poverty category. Over to you, Rona.
Thanks very much. Can everybody hear me? Okay. So I'm Rona Arthur, I'm Head of Connected Communities and have been working closely with the volunteers throughout the pandemic, particularly through Angela and her team in the locality hubs. And I know quite a lot of you have been involved in the locality hubs. And I asked earlier if I could have a tiara or a crown, a princess crown, if I was going to, since I've got fancy. So I don't actually have one, but I discovered I have got a magic wand. So with this magic wand, and I hope Councillor Cullinan's not going to give me a row here, but with this magic wand, we used Scottish Government funding to help to increase the robustness around about food insecurity in North Ayrshire. And I know that so many of you have been involved in particularly caring for other people and making sure that that worry about food, and I'll share with you, it was my biggest worry. It was the thing that kept me up at night, was that somebody would go hungry. So to me, the community hubs and the food effort was absolutely phenomenal in North Ayrshire, and each and every one that volunteered and got involved in terms of coordinating calls, storing food in the front rooms, helping distribute, taking their cars out, walking around the block, having a wee chat from the end of the path. All of those things were absolutely incredible. So I'm just going to move on, if that's okay, Anne, to the actual award, because I don't want to hold you all in suspense. So the winner of the award in the category of food poverty works full-time from home, yet gave her all to making sure that people had access to emergency food parcels, a regular supply of the basics, and even recipe kits with an all you need to make a healthy and a cheap to cook meal. She even chopped the veg for those who had issues with pain and dexterity, and any of you who've got older parents will know just how difficult that can be as you get older. And it wasn't realised how much work that she'd been doing until the others in the group had to cover for her. And that's because she just gets her head down and gets the job done. When the group arranged extra pairs of hands for her, they managed to divide her work between 3 of them. So that kind of gives you an idea about how much was going on. This individual really connected with those that reached out to the group for support and is well thought of by the people that they support. And although the volunteer is now having a well-deserved step back from the fast lane, she is still a valued member of the committee and continues to support the group in the decision-making. The group state that it's been an absolute pleasure to get to know her over the past year. And the winner volunteers with the West Kilbride Community Support Group and is Nikki Douglas French.
Hi, I don't think, yeah, well done, Nikki. One of ours, we love her. I don't think Nikki's managed to come on today. I'm just going to double check through, but she's got all our friends here, I can see from the group, so I'm delighted. So Nikki's spectacular, and I'm so glad that she's got this award, because she just really knocked her pan out all the time trying to make sure people had what they needed, and she went above and beyond, and I was absolutely overwhelmed with the amount of heart she put into everything. And like I said, when I ended up doing some of her job for a wee while, I said to her, this is too much. This is like not just one person's job. So I was absolutely amazed at what she managed to accomplish, and I'm sorry she's not been able to come tonight to accept this, but hopefully she can watch the recording and meet you when you come round with the goodie bags. So thank you.
And I just think, pass on our thanks, Fee, and our thanks to all of you that have been so busy volunteering. And also, I'm sure Angela, take back our thanks to the rest of the Food Network, and all the people that are out there and all the other communities as well, working away. So very grateful. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for that, Rona, and thanks, Fee, for accepting that on behalf of Nikki. So moving quickly along, we're going to move on to the next category, and it's the Health and Wellbeing Award, and that will be presented by Elaine Young.
Lovely, thanks a lot, Anne, and thanks everyone for the invite to be here tonight. And I think particularly the theme "Time to Say Thanks" is particularly important under the Health and Wellbeing Award. So I'm very blessed to work in North Ayrshire with a number of colleagues in community planning, and I'm particularly aligned to the Garnet Valley locality planning. The last 14 months, I don't need to tell you all, have very much put the spotlight on health and well-being, and that's the direct effects of COVID, and then also the indirect effects on COVID in terms of, you know, backlog for the NHS, people not getting the treatment and tests and things that they need, but also the impact on people in terms of their mental health and well-being. So the impact has been great. And whilst our army of NHS staff have been absolutely to the fore and are to be congratulated in terms of their efforts, I do think that the army of volunteers and people on the call here tonight are also to be hugely congratulated, because the NHS alone could not have got us through this pandemic. And I suppose we're not at the end yet. And I know that a lot of people who've been activated in volunteering are continuing on, and it's to be very much valued from a health and wellbeing perspective. And you've hugely made a difference to population health. So absolutely delighted to be here. I'd like to give I thought I'd like to give everyone an award, and then I'm hearing everybody's getting a goodie bag, so that's good news, and I really like that idea. So everybody gets a little share. But I want to particularly tell you about the award winners tonight. They identified a gap and opportunity to gather and recycle baby clothes and equipment to young families in North Ayrshire who were struggling to make ends meet. And we all know how expensive these kinds of commodities are. So they made contact with health professionals and established a referral route which matched families in need with donated equipment. They used social media to campaign for donations of quality equipment, which then cleaned and checked and then redistributed. Equipment includes prams, cots, electrical equipment such as sterilisers, and baby clothes up to 2 years. And it's the Bees Trust who supports these volunteers. So when they had their idea, they approached the Bees Trust with a developed plan, with a vision, a developed plan, and a real grasp of what it would take to drive this forward and make it happen. Moreover, they understood if the project was going to become a reality, they would personally need to put in the hours to make that happen. And they were up for the challenge. All they needed from the group was some space and also the IT. Bees Trust have been very impressed with their professionalism and commitment to their vision. The impact of their project is impressive, and it's already made a tangible difference to the lives of vulnerable young families, not only in Garnet Valley, but throughout North Ayrshire as well. Families who've received their support via the recycled clothes and equipment have called the service a lifesaver. The cost of a new pram would have put me in debt for years. So that's hearing straight from people who've been in receipt of this. The two volunteers donate many volunteering hours each week, campaigning for donations, cleaning, laundering, sorting, and conducting safety checks on donated clothes and equipment, not to mention the hours and miles that they travel to pick these up. So it's a completely generous and time-consuming piece of work that they're doing, and it's humbling to witness the impact for young people, particularly for vulnerable young people. So the group believe that they should win because they epitomise the autonomy of volunteering. They saw a problem, they created a solution. Then from the get-go, they understood what they would need to solve the problem. They're brave, compassionate, and committed, and just plain old-fashioned amazing. So tonight, folks, I would like to present the Health and Wellbeing Award to Samantha Steed and Caroline Wagg.
Thank you, everyone. That's absolutely amazing, and such a short space of time to start in this. But thanks. I'd like to accept it on behalf of myself and Sam. Sam's not been able to make it, unfortunately, but I should be getting a phone call straight after this. Thank you.
Excellent. Well done, folks. Well done. And the next one we move on to is the Lockdown Legends Award, and this will be presented by Ian McMeekin.
Thanks very much. Can you all hear me okay? I think I'm brilliant. Okay. First of all, thanks so much. I'd like to thank everybody for kindly inviting me along tonight to the virtual awards ceremony to celebrate the amazing work. And I think we've already just held 2 awards and how amazing the volunteers have been in our local communities, North Ayrshire, particularly in the last 16 months. The reason I'm delighted here, because the first thing people often think about with the fire and rescue service is for stations and appliances. We're much more than that, and we're more than just fires. And I think the last 16 months has actually shown that. But we've also been working very closely with the third sector for many years, and that's demonstrated a positive states partnership arrangement within the Conan area in North Ayrshire. It's really embedded within their purpose there, and we've learnt so much from during the pandemic. It's been very challenging and difficult and sad for so many people, but there's lessons to be learned. And I think as Rona spoke about with the community hubs and so on, we look forward to building on these lessons and really building up our relationships so we can support each other moving forward. So therefore I'm delighted to provide the opportunity to attend the 70% the lockdown event. Now, I'm not that great at multitasking, so I'm going to try and read off the bit of paper here, and thankfully, Elaine, I didn't get many big words on it, so hopefully myself it was okay. So this volunteer is described as being such a kind and loving person. She goes out her way to help others and would do anything for anyone. So she set up this group to help others in need. She's one of the most kind-hearted people the rest of the group I've ever met. They say she would give the jumper off her back if she thought someone needed it more. So I think that says quite a lot in the first couple of sentences. She helps people who may be struggling money-wise by taking donations of goods, and she either sells them at pop-up shops to help buy things people need, or if they're useful, she takes them to people so they can have the essential in their homes. She also donates to local charities to help them, kids groups, older adults groups, etc. So very much a community person. She helps whoever she can, either collecting things they need or by dropping them off or holding pop-up shops. This volunteer also helps lots of families with household goods, clothing, furniture, and a partner helps deliver it. She's done free pop-up tents where you can go and get clothes, toys, or even bric-a-brac. People only need to give a donation which goes back to the community. The last one held was food hampers for the elderly. So I'm delighted to announce the winner of this category for the lockdown event is Dana Milligan. Well done, Dana.
Thanks, everybody.
Well done, Dana. You're doing amazing work out there. And the organisation that Dana's with is Random Act of Kindness. And I see them quite often on Facebook, popping up here, popping up there, literally popping up, given the work that Dana's done. So well done. And as we move along, the next one we're going to look at is the Outstanding Organisation Award. And it is being presented by Councillor Joe Cullinan.
Thanks, Anne, and thanks very much to yourself and Kaylee for inviting me along tonight. Really delighted to be here and to be in even if it's a virtual room with so many folk that I know have been at the kind of forefront of supporting people and communities throughout the pandemic. I can see the names in my screen. I know what some of you have been doing over the last 16 months to support people in North Ayrshire, and for the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the rest of North Ayrshire Council, just thank you for everything that you've done. It's been a really difficult 16 months, but you have made such a difference to people's lives over that period. Without some of the work that you have done, people would quite literally have been isolated in their communities, unable to access essential items like food and prescriptions. So the difference that you have made to people's lives, you should take that with you for the rest of your own life and be proud of the work that you have done over the last 16 months. And I think it strikes at the heart of what volunteering is all about, and what TACT are celebrating tonight. It's about making a difference to your community. And I know from personal experience that when you're volunteering yourself, you also get that personal reward at the end of it too. So just thank you for everything that you continue to do. As Anne said, I'm here tonight to announce the winner of the Outstanding Organisation Award. And this organisation involves volunteers in a range of roles. Their volunteers have gone above and beyond throughout the pandemic, adapting the way that they operate to continue supporting the delivery of their vital service. The organisation moved into one of the community hub buildings during the pandemic, which brought obvious challenges for them. And they could have not done this without the support of their volunteer base. They've implemented a COVID contingency plan, which has included a variety of changes for the volunteers themselves. And whilst in lockdown, the volunteers were unable to be in the hub, but they instead completed some training to facilitate peer support groups, which are now available to those who are requiring use of the service. The volunteers took key responsibilities to ensure that the food bank stock was well maintained and available for staff to take to families. The volunteers deserve to win as they've taken a vision for the community hub and made it into a real space that will hopefully be able to open up to the public soon. The volunteers have stuck with us throughout the pandemic. They rolled up their sleeves and got on with the tasks needing attended to, and did so with a big smile on their faces. The work this organisation, its staff and volunteers do is so important, 365 days a year, but sadly even more so over the last 16 months. And I'm delighted to announce that the winner of the award is North Ayrshire Women's Aid Volunteers.
Well done.
Thank you very much. There's a few of us in the hub tonight watching this, and we're over the moon. Thanks very much.
Congratulations, Lorraine. I'm sitting here laughing away because as Joe was talking, my colleague's sitting across from me and she's hee-hawing laughing, and I'm going, what's so funny? And I couldn't see you on the screen at this point, but she could actually see you when the penny had clicked. And you know, oh, it's us. So well done again, and big claps to you, well done. And the next one we're coming along to is the Social Isolation Award, which is being presented tonight by Councillor Anthea Dixon.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to be here this evening taking part in the awards night at the end of Volunteers Week 2021, celebrating the fabulous contributions to the lives of our communities in North Ayrshire. I feel I'm lucky, having been brought up with an awareness of volunteering by family members from grandparents to siblings, and probably the same as many people here tonight. And although I perhaps undervalued its worth because I just accepted it as being part of how life should be lived, it made sense to me that if you received help or took part in a group, then you too should help others and support the group as and when opportunities arise. It was only as I matured and became a counsellor that I really came to realise just how valuable a thing it is. And I now believe that volunteers are life's diamonds, shining often in dark places. They ensure activities and help happen locally, and they commit to their fellow citizens for no other reward than knowing that it makes lives better. And that really is worth cherishing, and certainly with our thanks today. So I've got a lot to say about the person that I am presenting tonight for the Social Isolation Award. So give yourself a little shake and make yourself very comfortable, because I might be speaking for a wee bit longer than some of the other previous speakers. As we say, the volunteer whose work has been acknowledged tonight has been blind for over 20 years and has passed his self-defence instructor exam with his organisation in 2017, the first registered blind self-defence instructor in the United Kingdom. His determination and resilience helped the charity to develop an empowering personal safety course for people who are blind. And this course went on to win the Pioneering Project category at the Scottish Charity Awards 2018 and the Disability category for empowering sensory impaired people and preventing social isolation at the UK's Charity Awards in 2019. However, further tragedy struck in 2019 when he began to lose his hearing. And yet, despite this, he still soldiers on, full of infectious humour and good spirits. This young man teaches courses free of charge, not only with the organisation in North Ayrshire, but also at Forth Valley Sensory Centre, where he now works as a chef. Yes, a deaf-blind chef. The Disability Centre in Paisley, and the Deafblind Scotland Rehab Centre in Kirkintilloch. But it is during lockdown that he is truly shone. Struggling with his loss of hearing, in addition to his sight loss, he felt totally isolated in a world that now made going out and about virtually impossible. But instead of feeling sorry for himself, he realised that many others, both people with and without sensory impairment, would be struggling with social isolation too. So he decided to engage with them through the power of social media by developing short videos, no more than 5 minutes long, to help people exercise and stay mobile. He incorporated the self-defense-based techniques he'd learned in his instructor training into these videos in his bite-size fitness videos, which were then born. And on a weekly basis through lockdown, he's produced these bite-sized videos which showed people how to stay active through martial arts style fitness, or massive, as he calls it. And he explains and demonstrates how they can move their legs by kicking out and kneeing upwards, how to move their arms and shoulders by throwing punches and uppercuts, and how to move their hips and heads, and how to combine the whole lot together. Initially, he thought the videos would be good for people who were sensory impaired and feeling socially isolated, but soon they were being shared by the elderly, people with MS, and with other disabilities. In fact, anyone who felt isolated and needing this lifeline to stay active, as well as engaging with other participants via social media. And Agnes from Kilwinning commented, "I found myself looking forward to his videos each week. Sometimes following him was the only exercise I had done that week, and he was always so funny and made me smile. I feel I'm not alone when I watch him." To date, he's produced 42 bite-sized fitness videos, which have been viewed by over 12,500 people, not just in North Ayrshire, but across Scotland and internationally. He's viewers from the USA, Brazil, and South Africa. Martin Allen, the communications manager at Forth Valley Sensory Centre, says that the bite-sized fitness videos are inspirational. Our clients, who have suffered more than most during COVID-19 lockdowns, enjoy watching and listening to them as they help them stay active, which in turn helps them stay mentally active and fighting the fears of social isolation. It was argued that he deserves to win the social isolation category, not only because he developed these videos to combat social isolation and keep people mobile, not only because it has reached and helped so many people throughout Scotland and beyond, but because he never gave up. And he ensured he would produce a video every week during lockdown, because he knew people depended on them for their mental and physical well-being. In my opinion, producing 42 videos in itself deserves a medal. Or tonight, even a social isolation award during Volunteers Week. Now, unfortunately, as this volunteer is deaf-blind, he's unable to be with us this evening. However, his organisation is here on his behalf. So the winner of this category volunteers with the Scottish Centre for Personal Safety and is David Black.
Hey!
Brilliant.
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm Alan from the Scottish Centre for Personal Safety. It's quite emotional just hearing all that there. He's done really well, and he's done us all proud. And he is, as I said, he's inspirational. So he'll be delighted to hear or to find out that he's got this award. Thank you all very much. It's really much appreciated, and I'm sure he'll be delighted.
Yeah, well, please pass on our thanks. His videos are wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Aye, that one certainly brought a wee tear to my eye. I don't know if it brought a wee tear to anybody else's. So well done, David. And if you do get a chance to look at his videos, just give him a wee Google, David Black and bite-sized videos, and you should be able to find them. Okay. So we're moving along now to the Young Volunteer Award, and it'll be presented by Angela Morell.
Hi everybody, hope you can hear me. My screen keeps freezing, which is not very good. But yeah, thank you for inviting me along to be here tonight to present the Young Volunteer. Anyone who knows me, majority of my career up until the last 18 months has really just been completely embedded in working with young people and surrounded by the amazing volunteers that they make. I think sometimes young people get a hard press, I'm sure we know. And to be a young volunteer really is really important, and it's an absolute honour to be presenting that award. So I suppose throughout my career I've been surrounded by volunteers, and I think never much so as it's been in the last 16 months. Working at the hub every day for the first year was just absolutely amazing, and we had a huge range of volunteers. A lot of them were young people, and the thing about the young people we're volunteering with is at the hub, it wasn't just about giving something back, it was also about them getting the benefit for their own mental health and well-being, because as we know, volunteering isn't just about giving something back, it's also about getting something for yourself, which is really important. And I think that we all know to be surrounded by volunteers, as to quote Audrey, would be surrounded by kindness and love, and that's certainly what we've experienced. So this young person, they'll be volunteer around 30 hours a week, which I'm sure we all agree is an absolutely huge achievement. They have understood and they understand and have seen the impact on poverty and having to go without, and what that actually means for families, and that has really driven their view about how much volunteering they get involved with. As a young person themselves, they were an absolute saving grace for their family and was very supportive of their siblings. This young person, who I've not got the pleasure to meet, but hopefully I will one day, has been described as being charming, polite, and someone to be really proud of. And I think that means a lot. So it's an amazing award. They get involved in such a range of skills, from picking up furniture, building furniture, matching it with the right person, navigating about North Ayrshire, working alongside the driver, and really just being that inspiration. So it gives me absolute pleasure to say that the nominating organisation that this young person works for is the West Coast Furniture Bank. And I would like to present this award to Leon Cummins. Congratulations, well done. We're all very proud of you.
Thank you. I can't thank you enough. I really wasn't expecting to win, to be honest. I'm quite kind of taken back. It's been an amazing experience overall, volunteering for myself. I mean, I was in quite a bad place myself before I started volunteering. I was kind of suffering with anxiety and stuff and wasn't getting out of the house much. So joining that group of volunteers at West Coast Furniture Bank, they really kind of made me feel welcome and got me myself and Shell and got me out the house. Because at one point I was in the house for 2 years and hadn't left my room for the past 2 years, and they managed to get me out, and they've got me involved with all these different kind of work experience and got me all these different kind of career paths to go down and stuff like that. So it's been overall an amazing experience. So thank you.
Well done. We're all very proud of you.
Well done, Lennon. I always like to see the young folk getting the award because they say if you can grab them in the early years to start volunteering, that they'll continue to volunteer throughout the rest of their life. So well done, Lennon. And moving along, we're coming up to our very own Ken Buchanan award, which is getting presented by Kaylee.
Thank you, Anne. So this award was a new award that was created back in 2019 now, following the passing of one of our long-standing board members, Mr. Ken Buchanan. So Ken was highly regarded by both board members and staff alike, and I feel very, very privileged to present this award tonight. So I'm just going to give you a little bit about Ken. Ken started his working life by gaining graduate entry to the National Coal Board in the position of under manager. He then progressed his career working in various positions with a number of companies, including Rentokil as the general manager and managing director of Erskine House, then director of corporate services with Comtel Limited, and finishing his paid working career as corporate affairs director with Omni Communications. And during this time, Ken was responsible for training. He was responsible for legal and regulatory matters, multi-million-pound budgets and personnel. And he firmly believed that it was the people who worked for the organisation that made it what it was. And it was this ethos about caring about people that shone through when he retired and he went on to volunteer with Citizens Advice Service. Not only was he sharing his skills at a management level by serving as a board member, but he was also a volunteer advisor. He was providing free, impartial advice to the general public across a wide spectrum of issues such as benefit and debt problems, amongst others. Ken joined the Volunteer Centre as a board member on the 11th of March 2005, and during that time he was with us. He provided a huge amount of guidance and support to other board members and to our senior management team, whilst fully immersing himself in the ethos of the organisation. What set him apart was that he really found time often to come in and chat to staff, ensuring that everybody had a voice. However, it only happened if you made him a cup of tea. So he did like a cup of tea. So just like Ken, the first thing said about this volunteer was, what doesn't he do? He's volunteered for over 40 years, given to the community in one way or another. He was on the board of this nominating organisation from the very beginning of their journey. And this involved guiding and supporting the then young Pennyburn Enterprise Group turn an old abandoned public house into the heart of Pennyburn. They made the community dream a reality due to the hard work and the dedication of their team of volunteers, bringing back the real community ethos. The plays provide services, opportunities and experiences for the community, and they have the ability to adapt based on the needs of families, as proven throughout the pandemic. What a guy this guy is. He's always served the community, providing services of some sort, including St Andrew's First Aid, teaching and supporting community events, sharing his knowledge and his skills with local groups such as the Boys Brigade, as well as volunteering with other groups such as the British Legion. His commitment to the Pennyburn area is just phenomenal, and as such, he truly deserves to be the winner of our very own Ken Buchanan Award. So the winner is William Duffy, or Willie as he's known. Congratulations, Willie. Fantastic.
You managed to get me totally embarrassed. I obviously thought you were talking about somebody else. I'd just like to say thanks very much for the nomination. Thanks a lot. And thanks to all the other volunteers at the place. That's what we all make it happen. Thank you.
Well done, Willie.
Aye, well done, Willie. I just was getting feedback if I closed the room as Kaylee was reading through all the stuff, and they're going, he doesn't seem to have recognised yet that it's him. And then towards the end, it goes, oh, it looks as if his face is getting a wee bit redder now. You know what I mean? So well done, Willie. There you go. And now we get to talk about the wee secret award we were talking about at the beginning. as I said, we when we were doing this Volunteers Week, obviously it's been a bit different, and we had put out to everybody and their granny, so to speak, to see who would give us money, who would give us donations, to enable us to provide the goodie bags and the hampers. However, we were very, very fortunate that Halo Communications came forward, and they have actually offered us a brand new laptop. Now, it's no just a laptop that you can walk into the shops and buy for £200, £300, £400, maybe even £500. This laptop costs an amazing £1,000. Now, don't ask me to tell you what it does and what it doesn't do, because I haven't got a Scooby. Right? All I know is I think it does everything except make your dinner and wash your dishes. I think it does everything else in between. So we were then set with the task of, what do we do with this computer? So it was decided that the panel that looked at the awards would again look at the organisations that had taken the time out their day to nominate their volunteers for it. So they then went about and did a wee bit more digging into what the actual organisations did, how were they there in the front line, what kind of things did they get up to. And unanimously it came back with this one organisation who they're relatively new in North Ayrshire, and they are, when the winner does appear, I'll let them explain the actual work that they do. But I know that they engage with me for various aspects of the role. I know they engage with Susan for various aspects. They go along to everything and anything if it can promote their service. Or the list just goes on and on about the things they've done. They've created a Facebook page, they're doing a website. They've actually, and this will be a clue to the winning person sitting here tonight, is that they've actually managed to go into Amazon, and if you do that, shop by the charity type thing, money for that, if you do your shopping, money for that will then go back to that. She clicked. Susan's sitting watching the face, so she's just dealt me, she's clicked. So I'm very, very, very pleased to say that the winner of the laptop that, as I say, can do everything but make a dinner and wash her dishes is For No One Dies Alone and Linda McCurrock.
Oh, well done, Linda.
That's so fantastic. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Yeah, well, we've got quite a few services now, and we just today launched, we were doing a walk to celebrate Volunteer Week, and we've kind of launched, after we get our training at the end of the week, a walk as well to help combat isolation and loneliness. So we've got the telephone support service, one-to-one support, and the vigilance service for sitting with people at the end of life who are alone or who have a family that need some support, sometimes just some company, somebody to be there, and sometimes a wee break. So our walk will be called No One Walks Alone, and it's just anything underneath the heading of being a human is included in the walk, because we've all been suffering the same kind of stuff over the last year. So, but that's absolutely amazing. Thank you very much.
Well done, Linda, well done.
Oh my God. I'll be giving you a better shot next.
I think the biggest thing will be deciding who's getting it. Linda's saying it's mine, it's mine. I had actually told my sons about it, and they're going, "Oh, that's fantastic," and they're going, "Can there no be like a Greg organisation or a Kevin organisation, and one of us can win it?" And I'm going, "No, unfortunately not, boys." You know what I mean? But that's a fantastic prize for Halo Communications to actually give. So, as I say, I hope you enjoy it, Linda, and well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, all that remains for me to say, apart from well done to everybody and to all the winners, and I will, along with Susan, see you over the next week or so. with the goodie bags and hampers. But I want to hand you back over to Kaylee Brown just to give some closing remarks.
Thanks, Anne, and apologies, it's me again. Although I kind of feel like I have got a halo sitting in this sunshine, so I'm trying my best to get out of the sunshine for a minute. I will make this quick. I just want to say a final thank you to each and every one of you for everything that you've done in the response to COVID-19 and what you continue to do for your local communities. It goes without saying, it's absolutely invaluable, and you're a real strength and army. So thank you. I can also say a thank you to our loyal and supportive sponsors, and it was great that Anne was able to highlight the contribution from Halo Communications, but the rest of our sponsors, it wouldn't be without the support from them that we're able to produce these goodie bags and hampers that each and every single one of you absolutely deserve. But I'd also like to say a thank you to our wonderful presenters, Ian McMeekin, Area Commander for Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, Angela Morell, Senior Manager, Community Empowerment, Councillor Joe Cullinan, Leader of North Ayrshire Council, Elaine Young, Assistant Director of Public Health, Councillor Anthea Dixon, and Lona Arthur, Head of Service of Connected Communities. We appreciate your time this evening and we really hope that you've enjoyed yourself. And last, by no means least, I'd like to thank our wonderful TACT team. The staff, like every year, go above and beyond. They really make the event a real success. And there is a lot of hard work and preparation that goes into organise the event. Never seems to get any easier, but especially opting onto our new digital footing for tonight. So they've excelled again. And I know that most people and everybody here is giving them a round of applause, albeit it was a quiet one for you, but thank you very much. It's just an opportunity for us to recognise the contribution they make, and I know that staff absolutely thoroughly enjoy the event, so we wouldn't have it any other way. So just another thanks, and hopefully we hope to resume our normal face-to-face event next year, all going well. So continue to stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Thanks very much.